The sea is endless, and it has always been here, whispering softly beneath the turning sky. Waves rise and fall, carrying stories older than memory, older than the first spark of fire. Close your eyes and listen. The ocean speaks in rhythm, in a language without words, yet full of meaning. Tonight, we follow a current of myth, drifting into the heart of an eternal kingdom. There, in the vast silence beneath the waves, dwells the keeper of storms. He is not only a king, but a guardian of balance, timeless and unshaken. His throne is coral, his crown the shimmer of sunlight upon the deep waters. His name is Poseidon, ruler of tides, friend of the moon, and master of the winds. Some call him fierce, others wise, yet all who sail know his presence. Every storm is a breath of his spirit, every calm sea his gift of peace. The journey we take tonight is not of fear, but of wonder and renewal. For in the voice of the waves lies a promise eternal, a promise that storms are not endings, but beginnings shaped by water and sky. So let us begin with the sea as our guide and the horizon as our path. The sea begins with a whisper, soft as a secret carried across endless waves and fading horizons. It is not a shout nor a roar, but a murmur that lingers, as though the ocean itself leans close to speak. Every ripple on the surface carries a fragment of this voice, delicate, ancient, and patient beyond time. The whisper moves with the tide, weaving through currents like a thread of memory from forgotten ages. If you listen carefully, you may hear it when the world is quiet, beneath the sigh of wind at dusk. It is a language older than words, shaped by water and sky, and felt more than understood. Some say it is the ocean's song, guiding sailors across storms and lulling dreamers into visions at night. Others believe it is Poseidon's breath, a reminder that he watches and listens from the depths below. The truth may be both, for myths are born from what cannot be explained but must still be told. The whisper has no beginning and no end, as eternal as the horizon where sea and sky meet. It drifts through the salt air, brushing the ears of those who dare to pause and listen without fear. Children on quiet shores hear it as laughter in the foam, playful and light, like the dance of dolphins. Travelers far at sea hear it as guidance, subtle nudges in the wind to steer them toward safety. Poets and dreamers hear it as inspiration, lines of thought shaped like tides rising to touch the moon. Yet all who hear it know they are not alone, for the ocean is alive, present, and full of memory. Imagine a sailor standing at the bow of his ship. Night sky above, black water stretching endlessly. He leans forward, eyes closed, and hears it in the rhythm of waves against the wood beneath his feet. It is not loud, not even clear, yet it fills his heart with a strange calm, as if embraced by the sea. That is the whisper, the sound of belonging, as though the ocean itself claims him for a moment. The whisper carries stories, tales of creation, of tides born from the dance of moon and sun. It tells of ancient storms that once reshaped coastlines, carving beauty from chaos without cruelty. It remembers lost ships and vanished travelers, their names echoing softly without sorrow or fear. For in the ocean's memory, nothing is ever lost, only transformed and carried forward like the tide. The whisper also carries promises, hidden within its gentle, rolling tone. It promises renewal after storms, calm after chaos, dawn after the longest night. It promises that every journey has meaning, even if its destination remains unseen across the waves. It promises that Poseidon, eternal and watchful, keeps the balance between fury and peace. Some nights, The whisper grows louder, filling the air with a hum that stirs the heart deeply. On those nights, the ocean feels vast yet close, as though the listener stands inside a living dream. It is then that sailors light their lanterns and murmur small prayers to the sea. They ask for safe passage, but they also give thanks, for even storms hold hidden gifts of renewal. And as the lanterns sway, the whisper replies, carrying reassurance on the shifting wind. Not words, but feelings. Comfort, patience, strength, woven into the rhythm of the waves. Generations have passed this tale. Fathers to sons, mothers to daughters, storytellers to seekers. Always they speak of the whisper, the first sign that the ocean is listening, alive and aware. For long before thunder shakes the sky or waves rise high, the whisper is there. It is the soft beginning of every storm, the gentle voice behind every tide. It is the reminder that nothing in the ocean begins with violence, but with harmony and breath. And so, to hear the whisper is to know the sea, not as an enemy, but as a companion eternal. Poseidon himself is said to shape this sound, placing it in the water as a gift to all who wander. A gift not of fear, but of presence, telling mortals that the sea is vast, but never empty. Each whisper is a thread, connecting hearts to the deep, binding surface to depths unseen. And through it, the Eternal King speaks, softly, endlessly, without need for thunder or command. Listen long enough, and you will hear your own name carried in the current of his voice. For the whisper of the waves belongs to all who walk the shore, sail the sea, or dream of horizons. It is the first story of the ocean, and it will be the last, echoing long after time itself sleeps. The kingdom beneath the horizon begins where sunlight fades and the deep sea takes its quiet breath. It is a world unseen by mortal eyes, yet alive with color, sound, and motion beyond imagination. The ocean floor stretches like a valley of mystery, covered in gardens of coral glowing faintly in the dark. Each coral branch shimmers like crystal, lit by tiny creatures who dance with sparks of living light. Schools of fish drift in unison, silver scales flashing like constellations beneath an eternal night sky. Here the sea is not silence, but a symphony, with each current and creature adding to its hidden song. Palaces rise from the seabed, formed of coral, pearl, and stone, shaped by the patient hand of time. Their walls glimmer with shells, their arches woven by living coral, always changing yet eternal. In the grand halls of this realm, light filters down like threads of gold, soft and dreamlike. Pearls line the pathways, not as treasures to be taken, but as offerings from the sea itself. Towers climb upward, their tips kissed by currents that spiral like ribbons through the water. At the center of all stands the eternal throne, surrounded by gardens swaying with seagrass. Creatures both great and small wander freely, for in this kingdom there is balance, not fear. Gentle whales pass like moving mountains, their songs echoing through the coral chambers. Turtles glide with patience, their shells etched by time, carrying secrets of countless tides. Dolphins dart through arches of coral, playful messengers bringing news from distant coasts. Every being here is part of the great rhythm, woven into the fabric of Poseidon's living realm. Legends tell that the sea itself shaped this kingdom as a gift for its eternal guardian. The walls of coral grew upward to crown him. The pearls rose from the sand to honor him. The waters curved into halls and sanctuaries, a palace alive with the pulse of the ocean. This is not a kingdom of conquest or walls, but of harmony, open to the flow of all things. The horizon above may seem endless, but below lies a realm complete, vast and luminous. Travelers who dream deeply at sea sometimes glimpse it in visions, glowing through the waves. They wake with a sense of wonder, unsure if it was dream or memory of another life. For the kingdom beneath the horizon does not reveal itself to all, only to those who listen. To the patient, the quiet, the ones who hear the whisper of waves and trust their gentle guide. In the throne room, the waters hum with presence, as though the sea itself breathes within stone. No fire burns here, no smoke rises, yet the halls glow with a light both soft and eternal. Mosaics of shell and pearl tell the stories of tides, storms, and the dance of moon and sun. Each tile shimmers as if alive, moving when touched by the sweep of a passing current. In these stories, the ocean remembers not battles, but moments of balance and renewal. They tell of rivers meeting seas, storms giving way to calm, and nights surrendering to dawn. It is a place of memory, where time drifts like sand, never still yet never lost. And always at the heart of this realm is Poseidon, seated in patience, watching, listening. His kingdom is vast, but it is not his alone, for it belongs to every wave, every creature. The horizon above may divide sea and sky, but below it, unity is endless and unbroken. Here beneath the horizon, the kingdom breathes, eternal, luminous, alive with harmony. The eternal throne stands at the heart of the ocean's realm, a beacon of balance within endless blue. It is not carved by human hand, nor forged by fire, but grown from the sea's own patient design. Coral arches rise like pillars, bending gracefully into a crown above the seat of the deep. Pearls glow along its surface, shining softly as though lit by the heartbeat of the ocean itself. The throne is alive, breathing with the currents, shifting and shimmering with every passing tide. No dust gathers here, no silence lingers, for the sea is always in motion, eternal and renewing. Upon this throne sits Poseidon, not in fury, but in calm strength, steady as the tide's rhythm. His trident rests at his side, less a weapon than a compass, guiding the seas with silent authority. The throne is not raised above others, but set within the flow of life, open to all who pass. Creatures approach freely, unafraid, for they know this seat is not of dominance, but of harmony. Dolphins leap in joy before it. Whales bow their heads, turtles linger as if in meditation. Each gesture is not worship, but acknowledgement, a shared respect for the keeper of balance. Legends say the throne listens, echoing the voices of the sea into Poseidon's heart. Every whisper of current, every shift of tide, passes through its living coral veins. It carries the memory of rivers, the sigh of storms, the laughter of waves upon distant shores. Through it, Poseidon does not command, but understands, hearing the sea as one might hear a friend. The eternal throne is a mirror of the ocean itself, vast, patient, and forever in motion. It does not remain fixed, but grows and transforms like reefs reshaped by light and time. Sometimes it gleams in colors of dawn, other times it glows with the deep silver of moonlight. Always it reflects the state of the sea, revealing harmony or unrest in its living form. Sailors who dream deeply at night speak of visions of this throne, radiant beneath endless water. They wake with a calm they cannot explain, as though touched by a wisdom beyond the horizon. For the throne is not hidden from the world above. It breathes its presence into every tide. The rising and falling of waves, the pulse of currents, all echo the rhythm of its seat. When storms roll across the sea, the throne glows brighter, absorbing their power into balance. When the sea lies still, it hums softly, reminding all that peace too is part of the ocean's song. It is said that the throne was born when the first wave met the first shore, a moment of union. From that meeting came balance, and from balance came the seat of the sea's eternal guardian. No jewel nor crown surpasses it, for it is built not of treasure, but of the sea's own essence. Its beauty lies not in grandeur, but in truth. A throne that exists only to keep harmony alive. Poseidon sits with patience, his gaze upon both depth and horizon, hearing every song at once. He does not need to move, for the sea moves through him, flowing from his throne to the world. Those who glimpse him see not a tyrant, but a figure woven of salt, wave, and starlight. His silence is powerful, not heavy, but gentle, like the stillness before dawn breaks the sky. The eternal throne reminds all who listen that rulership is not power over, but power within. To guide is not to command, but to balance, to breathe in rhythm with all that lives. So the throne endures, glowing beneath the waves, a living promise of eternal harmony. And Poseidon remains seated, steady and calm, the guardian of tides, storms, and renewal. For as long as the throne endures, the sea itself will remember its vow of balance everlasting. The birth of the storms is not a tale of chaos, but of balance, born from the breath of the sea itself. Long before men named the winds or measured the tides, the ocean was already shaping the sky. Storms did not come as destroyers, but as renewers, carrying with them the cycle of cleansing rain. Each storm begins as a whisper, the same whisper that lingers in calm seas and gentle breezes. It stirs in the heart of the deep, rising like a dream through layers of water and shifting currents. Warmth meets coolness, breath meets silence, and from their union comes the pulse of wind. Clouds gather not in anger, but in harmony, drawn together like dancers in an endless sky. The first drops of rain are not warnings, but blessings, falling softly on seas and distant shores. Every drop carries the memory of the ocean, a promise of life to rivers, fields, and wandering flocks. The waves lift higher, not in rage, but in rhythm, each crest echoing the heartbeat of Poseidon. To the surface traveler, the storm may seem fierce, but beneath lies order, a pattern of renewal. Fishermen who have listened closely know this truth, and they do not curse the rain. Instead, they welcome it, for the storm brings fish in abundance and air alive with freshness. Sailors, too, bow their heads, for they know storms are teachers, not punishers of the sea. A storm shows the fragility of wood and sail, but it also shows the strength of spirit within. It humbles, but it also uplifts, reminding all who sail that they are part of something greater. The thunder above is not a threat, but a drumbeat, marking the passage of the storm's song. The lightning is not fury, but light, illuminating the horizon so travelers may glimpse their path. Each flash tells a story of the deep, a reminder that the ocean's heart beats in rhythm with the sky. The storm, though mighty, always passes, leaving behind a sea that breathes with new calm. Rain seeps into the earth, filling rivers that wander back to the ocean with songs of renewal. Fields bloom, forests thrive, and springs awaken, all gifts carried in the hands of storms. And in the ocean, life stirs even deeper, for storms bring nutrients to the surface from below. Tiny lights spark in the water, plankton rising, feeding the cycle of life across the seas. So the storm is not an end, but a bridge, connecting sky and earth, depth and surface, past and future. It is said that Poseidon shapes each storm with care, guiding it like a painter with a brush. His trident does not strike in anger, but directs the flow of currents, wind, and rain together. The eternal storm, the greatest of them all, circles the seas not to destroy, but to endure. It is the breath of eternity, moving forever, a reminder that change is constant and sacred. Legends tell of travelers who sought the heart of the eternal storm and found clarity within. They returned not broken, but transformed, carrying new wisdom as if gifted by the sea itself. For to enter a storm is to enter the heart of Poseidon's rhythm, where balance is born. And when one emerges, the world feels brighter, calmer, as though washed of weight and sorrow. So storms are not curses, but blessings, reminders that endings and beginnings are one. The rain will always return, the winds will always rise, and the ocean will always renew. To fear the storm is to miss its gift, but to listen is to walk with the Eternal King. For every storm is his voice, deep, powerful, yet filled with love for the world it touches. And long after sails have folded and skies have cleared, the memory of its song remains. It is carried in rivers, whispered by trees, and echoed in the laughter of waves on the shore. Thus, the birth of the storms is not a tale of fear, but of life, eternal and unbroken. The ocean keeps secrets not only in storms, but in the quiet sanctuaries where life gathers unseen. Beneath the rolling waves lie gardens, shaped by time, patience, and the artistry of nature's hand. Coral reefs rise like palaces, each branch a tower, each crevice a hall filled with color and light. These are the hidden realms of Poseidon, places where silence speaks and beauty thrives eternal. Fish of every hue drift between coral arches, moving like living brushstrokes across the sea's canvas. Their scales shimmer like gems, catching the light that trickles down from the dancing surface. Tiny creatures, unseen by most, weave threads of life that bind the great and the small alike. Each reef hums with energy, a heartbeat that echoes Poseidon's own rhythm beneath the waves. Here, predators and prey move in balance, neither ruling, neither falling, both part of a greater song. Sea turtles glide through coral tunnels, ancient travelers carrying memories older than empires. Octopuses vanish in clouds of mystery, leaving behind only wonder and whispers of change. The reefs are not silent fortresses, but living choirs, singing in colors and patterns of endless variety. To those who listen, they tell stories of survival, of harmony, of the eternal bond between all life. But these gardens are fragile, their beauty dependent on the delicate thread of balance. Too much heat, too little care, and they fade, colors vanishing into a ghostly silence. Poseidon is said to guard them with greatest care, for they are jewels of his ocean crown. When storms pass overhead, reefs bend but do not break, protecting shores from their mighty force. In their resilience lies their gift, absorbing fury and returning calm to restless coastlines. They are shields as much as sanctuaries, defenders as much as dwellings of wonder. Many sailors speak of hearing music while anchored near coral shores on calm nights. They claim the reefs hum softly, as though singing back the lullabies of the sea. Some say it is Poseidon himself, speaking through the coral, reminding mortals to cherish the sea. Others believe it is the memory of storms, echoes caught in stone and sung together. Yet all agree that reefs hold magic, a magic not fierce but gentle, woven into every ripple. Even the moon seems to linger above them longer, shining silver paths across their waters. The creatures that dwell here do not fight for crowns, they dance in endless circles of sharing. Each feeds the other, each protects the other, and together they form an eternal harmony. Perhaps this is Poseidon's greatest lesson, hidden in plain sight beneath the tides. That strength is not only in thunder and storm, but in quiet bonds, and shared existence. The reef does not roar, but it endures, lasting through centuries in silence and brilliance alike. Travelers who dive deep here return with hearts changed, their eyes full of new wonder. They carry stories of gardens without soil, forests without trees, palaces without kings. And though they cannot bring back the reef itself, they bring back its song, soft and eternal. Legends tell of a time when even gods walked these gardens, humbled by their quiet beauty. Poseidon himself is said to wander here, not as a ruler, but as a listener among his creations. He bends close to the corals, hearing their whispers, learning from their patience and their peace. For even the Lord of Storms must find stillness, and in the reefs he finds his sanctuary. Thus the coral realms stand, not as monuments, but as living prayers beneath the waves. They remind us that eternity is not always loud, nor always fierce, but sometimes tender, and that the sea's true crown is not the tempest, but the harmony that blooms in its silence. Far below, where sunlight fades, there exists a world untouched by day, the twilight kingdom of the deep. Here the sea is endless shadow, yet alive with lights born not from stars, but from living creatures. Tiny sparks drift like embers, each glow a lantern carried by unseen travelers in the dark. This is the realm where Poseidon's mysteries linger strongest, hidden from mortal eyes above. Fish shimmer in colors unknown, their bodies glowing with blues, purples, and sudden flashes of gold. Jellyfish float like slow comets, their tendrils weaving rivers of light through the black waters. Some call it the night sea, for here the ocean mirrors the sky with its endless constellations. But unlike the heavens above, these stars move, breathe, and sing in silence beneath the waves. The creatures here are fragile, yet eternal, shaped by patience, not haste, by stillness, not fire. In the quiet of the abyss, the pulse of Poseidon can be felt more deeply than anywhere else. He is said to walk unseen here, a guardian in silence, carrying the light of balance within. Every flicker of glow is a note in his symphony, a reminder that darkness is never empty. Instead, it is fertile, alive with beauty, waiting for those willing to see without fear. Travelers who dive this deep tell of silence so vast it becomes a song within the heart. No wave crashes, no wind howls. Only the heartbeat of the ocean remains in timeless rhythm. And in that silence, one feels watched, not with threat, but with presence, strong and eternal. It is said that Poseidon whispers to the deep in a language of currents and shimmering lights. Some believe the glowing creatures are his messengers, carrying wisdom through the dark. Others believe they are fragments of his own breath, sparks of eternity woven into form. Whatever the truth, the abyss is not empty, but sacred, a cathedral of shadow and flame. There are canyons below, deeper than mountains are tall, carved by time and flowing currents. In their walls live creatures unseen by the world above, guardians of secrets older than men. Some shine with brilliant light, others blend into stone, both part of the endless cycle. And still deeper, the vents rise, towers of fire beneath the sea, birthing warmth and darkness. From these towers flow rivers of heat, feeding life where none should exist, yet all thrive. Here is proof that life endures even where sun cannot reach, a gift Poseidon guards with care. For he knows the deep is cradle as much as frontier, holding the seeds of future worlds. Sailors who dream of these depths often speak of visions filled with glowing waters. They wake with tears, unable to explain, yet certain they touched something eternal. The abyss has no storms, no reefs, no shores, only silence, depth, and unbroken wonder. Yet it is part of the same sea, a reminder that mystery belongs to all layers of life. Poseidon does not rule only with storms or calm, but with silence as well. His kingdom is vast, and each realm tells a different chapter of his eternal story. The deep teaches patience, resilience, and the beauty of unseen things that still endure. It tells us that not all light is from the sun, and not all songs are sung aloud. Some truths glow softly, quietly, but shine just as eternal as thunder or tide. And so the deep stands, a reminder that even in shadow, the sea is alive with hope. A realm where Poseidon walks unseen, yet always present, eternal guardian of the abyss. There is a place where sea and land meet, a shifting border written fresh with every tide and wave. Here Poseidon's hand is most visible, for he shapes the edges of the earth with patience and care. The shoreline is neither land nor sea, but a dance of both, an eternal conversation in motion. Waves arrive like messengers, carrying whispers from the deep to the waiting sands of the coast. Each tide is a breath, each retreat a pause, a rhythm that has played since the first dawn. Shells are left like offerings, tiny treasures scattered as gifts from the ocean's hand. They carry the memory of coral, of currents, of journeys that reached farther than eyes can see. Children who walk the shore often gather them, not knowing they hold pieces of eternity. The shore is alive with sounds, not only waves, but cries of gulls, laughter of wind, sighs of foam. It is a place of beginnings, for rivers arrive here, ending journeys only to start again. Their waters mingle with the salt, carrying stories of mountains, valleys, and forgotten springs. Poseidon watches this union, for he knows that balance is born when fresh meets salt. Without it, neither sea nor land would flourish, and the cycle would falter in silence. The shore is also a place of meeting, where mortals feel closest to the Eternal King. They step into the surf, feeling the pull of tides tug gently at their feet like a greeting. Some claim the waves speak, calling names, offering blessings, guiding lost hearts to peace. Others hear only silence, but even silence here feels like presence, warm and unshaken. Many legends are born on these sands, told by sailors returning from voyages long and uncertain. They speak of footprints that vanish too quickly, as though the sea reclaims what it lends. Some say Poseidon walks among them in disguise, leaving only the salt spray as his mark. To test not with storms, but with kindness, to see if mortals still honor the gifts of the sea. The shore is sacred not for its calm, but for its truth. Nothing here is permanent. Each wave changes the sand, reshaping it, reminding all that change is the heart of eternity. Rocks crumble, shells break, dunes shift, yet the dance continues without pause or end. This is Poseidon's quiet lesson, offered freely with every tide that comes and goes. That beauty is not in what lasts unchanged, but in what changes gracefully with time. The tide erases footprints, but it also prepares the sand for new stories yet to come. Storms may strike, pulling land into sea, but calm always returns, gifting peace anew. In this eternal rhythm, mortals find comfort, though many do not fully understand why. Perhaps because the sea is honest, always showing that loss and renewal are one. The shore is also where offerings are left. Coins cast, prayers whispered, hearts laid bare. Not to beg for riches, but to thank for safety, for bounty, for the chance to stand again. Poseidon does not always answer with words, but with tides, with calm waters, with safe returns. Some prayers are answered in fish, others in safe harbors, others in a horizon unbroken. Every gift is part of the dance, part of the eternal covenant between sea and land. So when one stands at the edge of the tide, they stand in Poseidon's temple. A temple without walls, without doors, open to all who come with respect and wonder. Its pillars are waves, its songs the cries of gulls, its incense the salt carried on the wind. And in this temple, all are reminded that the sea is not only storms, but peace as well. The shoreline, ever changing, is the promise that life too is change, and change is sacred. For every step into the tide is a step into eternity, where Poseidon's presence lingers forever. Far below the surface, where light fades and silence reigns, Poseidon's hidden kingdom begins to stir. The ocean floor stretches wide, a realm unseen by most eyes, yet alive with countless mysteries untold. Here, forests of kelp sway like cathedrals, their tall stalks rising toward a ceiling of shifting light. Fish dart through the green corridors, small sparks of silver flashing like prayers in motion. Deeper still, coral palaces bloom, each branch a sculpture carved by patience, time, and unseen hands. These reefs are kingdoms of their own, homes to creatures bright as jewels and soft as whispers. Each scale, each fin, each song of whales or dolphins carries Poseidon's breath within it. Mortals may never see this place, but its beauty lives in the tides that reach their shores. In the darkest depths, where no sun has ever touched, Poseidon's lanterns shine like stars reborn. Strange beings drift here, their glow a gentle hymn, reminding the sea that even night has light. Some say these lights are fragments of Poseidon's crown, scattered to guide lost souls in the dark. Others believe they are guardians, glowing with loyalty, keeping watch over the king's deep halls. The seabed itself bears marks of his power, trenches carved like signatures, vast and eternal. Mountains rise from the abyss, their peaks unseen, yet strong as the bones of the earth. Volcanoes breathe fire beneath the waves, painting the water with warmth, birthing islands above. Poseidon does not only rule the calm blue, he commands the very structure of the world. Every shift in the seabed, every quake, every island rising is his voice spoken in stone. Yet his kingdom is not only vast, but tender, for life blooms in even the smallest crevice. Tiny crabs crawl like caretakers, carrying grains of sand, shaping the smallest parts of the whole. Eels weave through caverns, guardians of secret paths, slithering where no other dares to wander. Whales pass through like pilgrims, singing songs that echo through miles, hymns to the Eternal King. Their voices weave stories older than empires, each note a memory of tides that mortals forget. Every creature, from smallest plankton to largest leviathan, belongs to the chorus of the sea. This chorus is Poseidon's temple choir, eternal, unbroken, sounding across centuries without end. Mortals above hear only fragments, waves breaking, gulls crying, but below the full song never stops. In this kingdom, time flows differently, measured not by clocks, but by currents and migrations. A coral grows not in days, but in centuries, carrying the patience of gods within its bones. Seashells form spiral chambers, perfect and infinite, each one a blueprint of eternal design. This is the artistry of Poseidon, subtle yet vast, delicate yet unyielding as the tides. Sometimes, legends say, he walks among these halls, not as a storm, but as a quiet presence. His trident glows faintly, casting ripples of light that calm the creatures gathered around him. They bow not out of fear, but out of harmony, as if greeting an old friend long known. Poseidon listens then, not with ears, but with heart, for every current is a voice to him. He knows when balance falters, when reefs weaken, when silence falls too heavy in the deep. And so, with gentleness, he restores, stirring currents, guiding migrations, planting seeds of coral. No mortal sees these acts, but they feel their results. Bountiful fish, calm seas, safe harbors. The deep ocean, unseen and uncharted, is proof that his rule is more than storm or fury. It is guardianship, a devotion to life itself, woven into every drop, every wave, every tide. Those who dream of the sea may glimpse it, visions of glowing halls and endless living temples. Perhaps in dreams, Poseidon grants such sights, to remind mortals of the sacred world below. And when they wake, they carry a fragment, a longing, a reverence for waters they cannot see. For the ocean's heart is hidden, but its pulse touches all, beating forever with Poseidon's will. Above the sea where mortals dwell, storms gather as both warning and promise in the endless sky. Clouds roll heavy with water, painting the heavens in shades of silver, gray, and deep blue. The wind begins softly, brushing faces, rattling leaves, whispering that change has already begun. Birds circle lower, their cries sharper, as if carrying messages no human tongue can translate. Sailors glance upward, reading the sky like scripture, knowing each swirl of cloud speaks a truth. They have learned to listen, for storms are not only danger, but lessons written by the Eternal King. The first raindrops fall like scattered pearls, cool and gentle, almost playful in their descent. Children run to feel them, laughing as if the sea itself had stretched upward to greet them. Yet elders nod in silence, for they know that every droplet belongs to Poseidon's vast domain. When rain gathers strength, rivers of water descend, joining earth to ocean in sacred reunion. The sea responds in kind, rising to meet the sky, waves swelling like breath taken in. Lightning streaks above, bright veins across the heavens, reminding all of the power at play. But even lightning, fierce as it seems, is not cruelty. It is illumination, a spark of truth. Thunder follows, deep and resonant, as though Poseidon himself speaks from within the clouds. Some hear warning in the sound, others hear blessing, yet all must pause to acknowledge its weight. Ships caught at sea sway against the force, masts straining, sails torn, yet hearts remain steady. For sailors know storms are tests, not punishments, opportunities to prove respect and endurance. They tie ropes tighter, secure their course, and whisper prayers not of fear, but of courage. Many believe that if respect is shown, Poseidon watches, guiding hands unseen through the storm. On land, farmers rejoice, for rain brings life, soaking fields, feeding seeds, promising harvests. The storm, feared by some, is celebrated by others, for balance is its true gift. Without rain, earth withers. Without thunder, skies stagnate. Without waves, coasts would crumble. Thus the storm is not enemy, but ally, a reminder that growth comes through movement, not stillness. Legends tell of times when Poseidon sent storms to awaken mortals who had forgotten reverence. Not in anger, but as a teacher, to remind them that the sea and sky are kin. And so, when storms rise, wise ones do not curse, but bow heads, honoring the eternal cycle. For every storm has an end. Every cloud breaks, every wave falls back into gentleness. The rainbow that follows is said to be Poseidon's sign, a bridge of light and calm. It is his promise that storms, though fierce, always lead to peace, renewal, and brighter skies. Travelers who see rainbows at sea often kneel, thanking the King of Waters for safe passage. Children look to the sky, eyes wide, not fearing storms, but seeing them as part of wonder. In this way, the storm is not chaos, but harmony, woven of wind, rain, thunder, and tide. It is a symphony, and Poseidon is the conductor, drawing each note from sky and sea alike. Even silence afterward feels holy, as if the world holds its breath in gratitude. Sailors write songs of storms, not to mourn, but to praise, carrying the sea's lessons in verse. Farmers tell stories to children, teaching them that rain is Poseidon's kindness, not cruelty. Poets describe the thunder as a drum, the lightning as a quill writing across the night. And always, behind their words, is the truth. Storms are eternal, yet never without meaning. Mortals who stand through storms often emerge stronger, wiser, hearts attuned to balance. For storms strip away illusions, leaving only resilience, courage, and respect for greater power. Thus, Poseidon's storms are not punishment, but gift, each one carving strength into mortal souls. And when skies clear, mortals remember, even briefly, that they are small, yet cherished parts of eternity. Beneath the shifting tides, mortals learn to sail, their fragile ships guided by courage and whispered prayer. From the first, hollowed tree to mighty vessels of oak, each boat was a gift born from daring hearts. The sea, vast and untamed, did not yield easily, yet Poseidon allowed passage to those who honored him. Fishermen cast their nets with reverence, knowing that bounty was never taken, only granted for a time. They prayed before dawn, thanking the Eternal King for the fish that swam willingly into their care. Merchants crossed dangerous waters, carrying silks, spices, and stories, weaving distant lands together like a tapestry. Each journey was a risk, for storms lurked unseen, but the promise of connection kept them brave. Sailors told tales of guiding lights, strange voices in the waves, and dolphins that led ships to safety. They believed these were Poseidon's messengers, guardians who carried his will across the open sea. Legends say the compass was born from the sea itself, a fragment of coral turned to guiding star. With it, sailors found paths where once there was only endless horizon, trusting the unseen pull. Every voyage was both trade and pilgrimage, a test of faith and endurance upon the shifting waters. For sailors knew that Poseidon could grant calm or chaos, abundance or emptiness, with a single wave. And so rituals grew, songs sung before setting sail, offerings cast into the sea before departure. Coins, shells, or drops of wine were given, small tokens of gratitude for safe passage. When ships returned, villages rejoiced, not only for goods, but for proof of Poseidon's favor. Each safe arrival was a festival, each homecoming a celebration of both courage and divine mercy. Poets sang of sailors as chosen ones, touched by salt and wind, shaped by the eternal sea. Their skin bore the marks of sun and spray, their eyes carried horizons most would never see. For them, the sea was not enemy, but teacher, stern yet generous, demanding respect in all things. Even in shipwrecks, stories lived on, of survivors carried ashore by waves or dolphins. Such tales were not of loss, but of Poseidon's mercy, reminders that the sea gives and takes. Families lit lanterns along coasts, guiding ships like stars, prayers carried in every flickering flame. The coastline became a living altar, where mortals and the sea spoke in unending exchange. Lighthouses rose, tall and steadfast, beacons of fire echoing the eternal lights of Poseidon's realm. They stood not against the sea, but with it, marking paths where safe waters might be found. Every port was more than commerce. It was a sacred place where land and ocean shook hands. Travelers shared stories there, binding communities with tales of faraway lands and unseen wonders. And always, at the heart of these stories, Poseidon's presence loomed, vast, invisible, undeniable. For no sail could rise, no net be filled, no harbor be reached without his silent approval. Mortals came to see ships as more than wood and sail. They were vessels of faith and hope. They carried not only goods, but prayers, dreams, and the courage of those who dared the sea. Even now, when waves crash against stone, echoes of those ancient journeys linger in the sound. Each crest and fall is a hymn, each tide a memory of mortals who placed trust in the deep. And Poseidon remembers them still, each sailor, each voyage, woven into the eternal rhythm of tides. Their courage lives on in the sea's song, whispered to every ship that braves the horizon. Thus the bond between mortals and the sea endures, sacred, fragile, yet strong as the waves themselves. The sea rests in silence now, though its depths still whisper the name of the Eternal King. Poseidon's reign is not bound by time, for the waves obey him as they have since the world was young. Mortals may come and go, yet the sea remembers, holding every prayer and offering within its endless tides. Each storm carries a fragment of his voice, a reminder that power and mercy can flow in the same current. The oceans have seen empires rise, fleets vanish, and shores reshape. But Poseidon's throne remains unbroken. His kingdom is not of marble or gold, but of coral, currents, and the ceaseless rhythm of tides. Sailors still feel his presence when the wind shifts, when dolphins leap, when stars guide them home. They whisper his name not with fear, but with reverence. For the sea is both cradle and grave. Children gather on shores to hear old stories, their eyes wide as they learn of storms and miracles. These tales are not myths to them, but living truths carried in the salt air and rolling waves. Fishermen still offer a drop of wine, a token of respect before casting nets into his domain. Even in quiet harbors, the scent of salt and sound of gulls remind mortals of their fragile bond. The Eternal King does not demand worship, only respect. For the sea gives as much as it takes. And when mortals forget, the waves rise, not in anger, but in reminder of balance and harmony. For Poseidon is not just storm or silence, but the eternal flow that binds earth and sky together. He is the unseen hand guiding ships, the voice in the undertow, the calm after every tempest. Legends say he watches not from a throne, but from every ripple, every surge, every hidden trench. The sea itself is his body, vast, unending, carrying memory beyond the reach of mortal years. Those who listen closely hear his song, woven in tides, echoing across bays, cliffs, and reefs. It is a hymn of eternity, reminding mortals that they are guests upon the edge of his realm. As long as waves touch the shore, his presence will be known, steady as the heartbeat of the earth. Even when ships become shadows of history, the sea will tell their stories in its eternal language. Every shell, every pearl, every grain of sand holds a fragment of Poseidon's timeless dominion. For in the end, he is not merely king of storms, but guardian of balance, keeper of the deep. The horizon is his crown, the abyss his scepter, the currents his eternal voice across the world. And mortals, fragile yet brave, remain part of his song, their courage echoing in the rolling surf. Each voyage, each prayer, each offering ties them to his endless kingdom beneath the waves. So when you hear the sea tonight, listen carefully, for it speaks with the breath of Poseidon. It calls not to frighten, but to remind you of the bond that unites mortal and eternal. For the storm, Eternal King is not gone, nor will he ever be, as long as the sea endures.